Elio guys, and welcome back. I hope everyone's doing well. In today's old video though, we have the next account review, which is coming from Oladimeji. Hopefully I pronounced your name right, but let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? Alright, so starting off here, Olad's requested things were pretty much just like PvP. There's some Titans action, there's also Champion Leagues, and just things in general. So I'm just going to go right off here from my list, and we're going to talk about your Titans teams first. So I went ahead, obviously, you know, being nosy as I am, I went ahead and went through your account, and I would say for the most part, your gem quality is fine and acceptable. Your enhancements are fine too. There were some where I looked at it and I was like, why would you use that one enhancement on that when you could have done it on this? Like, a lot of your attackers, you have like a defensive enhancement or a flat attack enhancement, but you don't have a attack percentage enhancement. And it's like, why? I mean, I'm not being too harsh on you, but if you want like peak performance, especially from your attackers like your Dark Indra, I don't see why you don't have attack percentage up there. So you could change that in the future, but I wouldn't focus on it too much for right now. But as I went through your mod box, like right here, I didn't see any fire courageous strikers at all. I mean, we don't talk about him, we don't talk about her. I mean, like Nat 5s. Like, there's no Fire Wukong, and I did a little bit of investigating, and it looks like you've done the hero dungeon, but from what I could gather, you got those hero dungeon mons, summoned them, and fed them to the light or dark version of whatever mon that you have, which totally like screwed you over in terms of Wood Titan. So I don't have any advice on that. Just hopefully pull some in the future, which is easier said than done, and we're just gonna move on. Next up though is Water Titan. I will go ahead and point out to you right now that I would definitely get your Bass up to 60, and of course swap out her gem, because I think she has like a defensive gem up there. Bass should be on HP recovery, especially with no enhancements. Like, if you take a look at her recovery, it's already dirt nasty low. Even at 60, it's not going to be that high, and she's not even Evo 3. So feel free to switch that one out. What's holding you back the most though is obviously the lack of courageous strikers. There's a Balrona right there. I didn't see your Water Indra because I do believe that you fed your Water Indra to your Dark Indra, which is understandable. But if you're trying to hit Titans, then you kind of need him for your left lane. You do have Hades and a Shelly, which is nice, and also a Water Kira, but you would need some Harlequins, some Balronas. If you can get some of the Acers, feel free to get her out there just to help boost up and fill out your Courageous Strike roster, because there's not much hanging out there, which is very, very sad, but you know, I'm trying to do my best here. And what else is there? There's also, I mean, everything else is pretty much, yeah, it's like just dedicated basically to your lack of courageous strikers, which is kind of resulting in a bad structure for your fire team. I will, of course, in a video include like a mock-up team for you to use, but it's just like, bro, it's highly unfortunate. Like, even a Water Indra, which isn't necessary, but definitely much recommended, could help fill out your roster for your bottom lane. But it's just, you know, one of those things. You could also pick up a Water Siegfried if you want and try and fill out that bottom lane for right now, and that could be the best that you have until hopefully you can pull something else in the future. In terms of your wood mons, once again as well, I didn't see a Zubaji. I'm not sure what you did with her. Maybe you summoned her and just fed her to the blender or something like that. But a Zubaji and Wood Enkidu combo could serve as one of your lanes. I do see Wood Thor over there as well, and also Wood Pinolo. So depending on your combination, you could use Pinolo and maybe Enkidu together in one lane, and then like a Zubaji and a Wood Thor on the other lane. And two, you can hopefully get some Wood Merlins one day. But once again, that's kind of the biggest Achilles heel in the account, that you're just lacking courageous strikers, which is kind of weird because you're level 55, I do believe, and there's a lot of just free Astromon missing, which is kind of sus, man. Is there something you need to tell me? Is there something that we need to know over here on the channel about what's going on with this account, man? In terms of your Hanas, though, you do have 3 of them, which is perfectly fine. It's just, once again, your structure's kind of messed up because there's no real dedicated courageous strikers. And before you think, oh, well, I don't have a courageous striker, so I'm going to feed X amount of Mons into the rebirth and I'm going to get some unflinching strikers. Please, man. Please. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Other than that, though, I mean, there's not too much else that you can like really depend on other than just farming things out in that nature. And I think according to my at least my older screenshot, I was running a composition with Wood Pernolo and Wood Thor together. So if you had a Zubaji, you could partner her up with Wood Enkidu for one of your right lanes. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So once again, if you come across some Titan Mons that you're interested in doing Titans with, please do and try and keep them. Moving on next, though, in terms of like hitting like Light Titan, you do have a Dark Android, which is super duper poggers. Finished getting him to Evo 3. I also had pointed out with his enhancement here, like you have crit damage, defense, resist, crit rate, HP, attack, but no attack percentage whatsoever. Like, I would just drop that resist and gave him attack percentage instead. And, I mean, HP percentage could help as well, but it's really up to you. But I would just take advantage of his attack. And then he's also on a Leech set, which I'm not sure how well that performs, because mine is on a Ruin set. But I'm going to go and tell you right now, if you want the most bang for your buck, especially with that Devastating Strike, just like my Indra, try and slide him over there on like a Ruin set and get like crit damage, attack. It is just bonkers. But you are able to hit Light Titan, which once again I'll include in the video a similar setup, or at least my setup that I use for Light Titan. You can feel free to modify it to work for you. In terms of your other lane, though, we don't talk about that. You're pretty much on your own there. You do have a Dark Sha Wu Jing, though, which you could possibly use in your upper lane, depending on what other Astromon that you have. There's also Dark Thor, even though he's very, very anemic because of his number 1 25k base HP and 2.4k base attack. He's also crit reliant, which means you have to dedicate a crit rate slot to him, just, you know, for most people, just to get that performance out of him, already making him a lot weaker than what he could be. Not saying that crit rate attack is bad, but with those stats it's just not optimal. But you are able to hit Light Titan. For Dark Titan, I don't have any advice because I literally just use the same team as far as that goes. Alright, moving on to Champions Leagues next. Let's go ahead and just pick out a couple Astromon in no apparent order whatsoever that you could use for Champion League. Once again, I will say the biggest issue here is just not having enough variety to kind of make things a little bit annoying for the Astromon available, but we're going to use what we can use on your account here and today. So I'm just putting these out in any order whatsoever. Don't pay attention too much to what I'm doing here. We can't do Light Miho because, at least for this Champions League, she's not really usable. So I'll act like that's Light Miho. There's also a Dark Mona here. Who else? Dark Sandwave could be useful depending on what composition you run him with. And who else? I know I saw someone else, man. I know I did. And one more. There should be one more. Alright, so these are the mons that I picked out for you. Obviously, this isn't in any specific order because I do want to leave some of the brain work up to you guys. But for your hidden mons, especially with them having full SP, I would either do something that can CC the whole entire offensive team, if possible. If not, put some of your hardest hitting nukers in there. This is pretty much classic in terms of Champion League. It's not really a big surprise if a nuker comes out. But try and put your best mon forward in terms of damage for your hidden mons. And then for your team composition, I would try and do like a nice mix-up of your mons and not really run like a one element type team, unless it's like just a team of defense aggressors, which you could also use, like a team of dark defense aggressors actually, which you could also use in your PvP defense team. Is it super duper hard to break through? No, of course. With any PvP team, depending on your composition, you can just floor a dark aggressor team. But for a lot of players, that could pose to be a very, very difficult issue. But I didn't see a Dark Siegfried, so you could hold off on that for right now. But the best thing that you can do in Champion League, though, is obviously just learn to try and mix up your Astromon in your team. So if you have a Watermon like Water Persephone right here, you want to try and mix her in with maybe like a Fire Victoria. If you had like a Wet Wild Thing, which we'll get into later because I didn't see one, you would have her up in there. If you had like a Wood Indra, you would throw him up in there. Because you basically want Mons that are number one tanky and able to stall, but with different elements. And having one dedicated Astromon that can do SP Siphon depending on your team composition could also help to stall them out, because if I know that he's getting SP Siphon off, I'm going to try and go for that SP Siphoner, but if I ignore Fire Valk, who's on the same team, there's an issue there where she'll get her SP bar up full and potentially just stun my whole entire squad. But at the same time, we have Light Miho over here drawing attention away. So I have a couple different Astromon I need to kind of focus on, but there's only, you know, so much I can do in a turn. Obviously, don't run two SP Siphoners together, but this is just to give you a gist of it. I do think with the latest update to not Dark Mona, but Light Mona, she's definitely looking a little bit more interesting nowadays with that Battle Rush and defense aggression. Like, I want to see how well that she does. But once again, try not to mix these up. Like, well, try to mix these up. Try your hardest to mix these up and not put like one element unless it's like in regular PvP, and I would say for the most part, unless it's like a fully decked out light team or a fully dark team, you should have RGB mixed in with your light and darks just to make things a little bit more spicy for those that you're fighting. You do have some good Astromon, but I think if you had like a Dark Merlin, for example, or what was it, a Wet Shiva, mons like those, Wood Indra, would definitely help fill out your roster and give you a little bit more spice when it comes to your defensive part of your teams. For offense, it's balls to the walls here. You do have like a Light Yuki. You do have Light Wukong, even though he's more of a defensive type mon. I didn't really see any dedicated resistance down type mons though, which is, you know, a bit of a bummer. Like a mon like Light Griffin would do you quite well. And I'm just double checking here as I'm talking if there is anything else. Light Griffin, did I see like Zephyros? I could have sworn maybe I saw one somewhere. I don't know. Even him would help you in some capacity if you're running a, you know, a crowd control composition where you have a Light Yuki and also like a Light Lucy, but it's really dependent on your team, and I don't have too much advice as that goes other than just learning your mons and making sure that your gym quality is up. And if you're going to half-ass something, then you're going to get a half-ass performance. If you want to crowd control a team, bring in all your crowd control mons. If someone has discernment, feel free to bring them in as well with that leader skill and have at it. If you're going to nuke, go ahead and make sure you go full in with the nuking. But let's go ahead and head back though, because we can go ahead and wrap this video up, because that's pretty much only things that I found. There was a couple notes that I do want to make though in terms of the account, which is basically continue to level up your mons to level 60. You have a lot of mons stuck at level 50. I'm not sure if it's a resource issue or not, but get those guys up to 60. That way, even with their current gems and enhancements, you can get more damage out of World Boss, which would then allow you to get more items out of there, especially like the Gleams. Because say for instance, the next time you pull in Heroes Festival and you get 2 Wood Merlins, well, to speed up that process, you could always get an RGB Super Gleam and help, you know, level up that Merlin, enhance him, and get him to Evo 3 ASAP. There's also, you know, the other options with World Boss, which I believe is skill books and stuff of that nature if you want to go ahead and dive into that. But I think getting them to 60 won't damage your account at all, and if you ever needed to use those specific mons for a PvP situation or clan versus clan situation, they are available to you. The other thing though I do want to bring up too is, I stated this at the earlier part of the video, if you are like 100% hardcore into Titans, or you want to get into Titans, from now on please refrain from trying to feed your Water Indras, your Wood Indras even for PvP. Whatever Wukongs that you get, as long as it's fire, keep the fire one. You can feed the other ones to whatever that you want to feed them to, but no fire Wukong, no fire Shinobi is really hurting your performance and potentially your gem amount because you're lacking courageous strikers. Another big thing too is you know, I'm not a super duper big fan of Clan Fest, even though I've gotten plenty of light and dark nat 5s. But as we can see from this situation, even though you have these light and dark nat 5s, the rest of your account has suffered because there's just not enough courageous strikers to really go around. So I would focus on Heroes Festivals, at least for the next couple of months if you're interested in Titans. If you don't really care about Titans that much, then just pull for Clan Fest, pull for Heroes Fest, whatever you feel like, and hopefully you get some better PvP bonds. But yeah, the biggest focus would be on Heroes Festival for the next couple of months to see what you can get and hopefully fill out your Wood Titan team roster, if not your Fire Titan team roster as well, and hopefully pick up some dedicated courageous strikers, which is pretty much easier said than done. And same thing for like your PvP defense team. If you wanted to run a full aggressor team, work on getting that Dark Siegfried up. You know, obviously getting the Evo 3 in the future. Make sure your C-stars are super evolved. You also have a Dark Cernunnos, which I'm interested to see how well he would perform. But I don't feel like you have enough of a team composition really to kind of maximize his performance, though I could be wrong. In terms of your Drakas, they both looked okay. One of your Drakas is on an HP set, so I'm not sure if you're using them in like a PvP situation or not. I did see one being used, but I wasn't sure which one, which is a little bit odd, but it is what it is. You can use whatever that you want, but I would try and focus on increasing your gem quality or possibly having a different set for one of your Drakas, aka this one specifically, because at least for the most part, I've been getting through a lot of the Dimensional Dungeon, if you haven't been doing that already, with 2 Drakas, a Water Kira, and like a Wood Hana, which is absolutely hilarious because you get the attack up action, you get the defense up action, and you get puncture spam. Other than that, though, that's pretty much it. I feel like I've hit all the big points here. Your account has a lot of potential. It's just that it lacks the mons that it needs to really take that potential to its fullest. Like, if you had a couple more mons, as I stated throughout the video, to help fill out your roster, there's a lot more you could get performance-wise out of your account if you had those mons. But since those mons are missing, it's like this, it's not like a deep dark hole, but there's holes in your account that you just need to kind of fill in, but you can't fill in until you get those mons to take things to the next level. But you know, for the most part, your gem quality is fine. As stated before, your enhancements are fine. It's just getting those courageous strikers up if you're interested in Titans, and if you're interested in PvP, getting those nice to have PvP mons to help fill things up and make things even spicier for you in the long run. But I definitely hope this video helped. Thank you once again, Olad, for allowing me to use your account, and I thank you for your patience with me getting this done. I hope the video helped. Stay focused on your account, keep up the grind, play when you can. If it's your birthday, you guys, happy birthday. If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, come on, join the Discord. I have my own dedicated ban list on my Discord that I myself am on. And if you want to join the ban list, all you have to do is have a light or dark nat 5 that isn't a contract mon, that isn't a fusion mon. Basically a mon that you pull from Clans Fest, Heroes Festival, from a golden egg, from a supreme egg, whatever. Post it in the Discord and you too can be part of the ban list. But that's pretty much it, you guys. See ya.